Let me tell you something I learned a long time ago. And I didn't learn it from a book at first. I learned it from watching people. I watched good people, honest people, hardworking people, and I noticed something that disturbed me. They weren't failing because they were lazy. They weren't failing because they were lazy. They weren't failing because they lacked character. They were failing because they had made peace with average. And average, my friend, has quietly become too expensive to maintain. There was a time when average could get you by. You could work a regular job, put in regular hours, have regular habits, and live a regular life. You might not have been wealthy, but you were stable. You had a roof, food on the table, a little money left over, and a sense that tomorrow would look roughly like today. But that world has slowly slipped away, and many people are still living as if it hasn't. They are using yesterday's habits to pay today's bills, and that math no longer works. I once knew a man who proudly described himself as just an average guy. He said it with a smile, as if it were a badge of humility. He wasn't aiming too high, he said. He didn't want stress. He didn't want pressure. He just wanted a simple life. And for a while, it worked. Then prices rose, expectations rose, competition rose, and life asked more of him than his average preparation could provide. What used to be enough slowly became barely enough, and barely enough eventually became not enough at all. Here's the truth most people don't like to hear. The cost of living has gone up, but the cost of thinking has not. The price of food has increased, but the price of discipline is still free. The rent has doubled, but the price of learning new skills is still paid mostly in effort. Yet many people keep paying more money while refusing to pay more attention. They keep upgrading their lifestyle while keeping their mindset the same, and that gap is where stress lives. Average thinking says, I'll do what's required. Above average thinking says, I'll do what's necessary. Exceptional thinking says, I'll do what it takes. And the marketplace rewards those distinctions more than ever before. You see, the world does not pay you for your intentions, and it does not pay you for your needs. It pays you for value. And average value earns average rewards, which no longer cover above average expenses. Let me put it another way. The world has become a place where you are either growing or slowly falling behind. Standing still is no longer neutral. Standing still is no longer neutral. Standing still is moving backward in disguise. When technology advances, when competition increases, when markets change, average effort doesn't hold your position. It loses it. And that's why so many people feel like they're working harder than ever, but getting nowhere. They are running faster on a treadmill that's speeding up. I remember being told once, you don't get paid for how hard you work, you get paid for how hard you are to replace. That idea shook me. Average skills are easy to replace. Average attitudes are everywhere. Average commitment is common. And when you are common, you are negotiable. The moment your employer, your industry, or the economy needs to cut costs, average is the first thing on the list. Now here's the part most people miss. Average isn't just about income, it's about habits. Average habits include reading a little, learning occasionally, exercising when it's convenient, saving what's left over, and hoping things work out. Exceptional habits include reading daily, learning deliberately, training even when tired, paying yourself first, and planning instead of hoping. The difference in daily behavior looks small, but the difference in long-term results is enormous. People often ask, why is life so stressful now? And the honest answer is that average living creates extraordinary pressure in a demanding world. When your skills barely meet the moment, every surprise feels like a crisis. A small expense becomes a big problem. A minor setback feels like disaster. That's not because life is cruel. It's because preparation was casual. I used to think motivation was about getting fired up, about excitement and emotion. Then I learned something far more useful. Lasting motivation comes from understanding consequences. When you truly understand what average will cost you 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you stop romanticizing it. You stop calling it balance or simplicity. You start calling it what it is, a risky strategy. Average says, I'll wait until things get better. Growth says, I'll get better until things change. Average waits for opportunity. Growth builds capacity, so opportunity has no choice but to notice. Average complains about the price of success. Growth pays it early and enjoys the returns later. There's a story I like to share about a farmer who planted just enough seed to get by. Every season he harvested just enough to survive. Meanwhile, his neighbor planted more, learned more, experimented more, and failed more. For a few years, they looked the same. Then one season, the weather changed. The average farmer lost his crop. The prepared farmer survived because he had reserves, knowledge, and flexibility. The moral is simple. You don't prepare for good times, you prepare for hard ones. And hard times don't announce themselves politely. They arrive quietly at first, disguised as higher prices, tighter competition, and fewer guarantees. Average living leaves no margin for error, no margin for rest, no margin for generosity. Excellence creates margin, and margin creates peace. Now, don't misunderstand me. This isn't about working yourself into exhaustion or chasing titles to impress others. This is about personal responsibility. This is about deciding that you will not let your future be determined by habits you picked up by accident. This is about choosing to grow when it would be easier to coast. The tragedy of average is not that it's terrible, it's that it's temple. It feels safe, it feels familiar, it feels reasonable. But reasonable goals rarely produce remarkable lives. And in a world that demands adaptability, reasonable effort produces unreasonable stress. One day, whether you plan for it or not, life will ask more of you. It may ask for more money, more strength, more patience, more wisdom. And the question won't be whether you are a good person. The question will be whether you are ready. Readiness does not come from wishing. It comes from daily, disciplined improvement. So here is the moral of the story, and I want you to sit with it. You don't rise to the level of your hopes, you fall to the level of your hopes. You fall to the level of your habits. And average habits no longer support the life most people want to live. If you want above average results, you must become an above average person in skill, discipline, and mindset. Decide today that average is no longer your destination. Decide that learning is no longer optional, growth is no longer negotiable, and discipline is no longer something you admire from a distance. Because the cost of excellence is always less than the cost of regret. And remember this, you don't have to be extraordinary tomorrow. You just have to be slightly better today than you were yesterday. Those small improvements, repeated daily, will quietly move you out of average and into a life with more control, more confidence, and more peace. In the end, average is not a place you stay forever. It's a place you outgrow. And the moment you realize you cannot afford it anymore is the moment your life begins to change.